Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Tom's Gadget Garage. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my experience with the Cycplus AS2 Pro Max electric tire pump. Now I know it's a big name, but good news is it's actually a very small pump. In fact, this series of electric tire pumps are among the smallest on the market today, which is really good news for those of us who are looking to pack light while riding around on our electric scooters or bikes, because nobody wants to be riding around with a bunch of clunky stuff in their bag. Now I'm going to be honest with you, prior to Cycplus reaching out to me a couple months ago asking if I'd be open to reviewing their pump, I actually saw multiple advertisements for the pump in the past, and I personally never pulled the trigger on it because I was unsure how much pumping a pump this size could actually do. And I'm happy to say that over the last month and a half, I've been using this thing to pump up my electric scooter tires, electric bike tires, the whole 9 yards, and it's done a fantastic job. And what I'm going to do right now is I'll go over some clips of me inflating various tires. So in the first clip, I'm actually inflating the tires of my Brompton bike. And if you're familiar with Brompton bikes, you'll know that they come with 16-inch tires, and they're high pressure tires. So they take pressures anywhere from 60 to 110 PSI. I personally like riding around at 80 PSI, and as you can see, the pump has no issue getting it up to pressure in a very respectable amount of time. In this next clip, you can see that I'm inflating the tire on one of my electric scooters, and this particular tire calls for about 47 PSI, and of course, once again, this AS2 Pro Max has no issue getting that up to pressure. In this particular clip, I'm actually inflating the tires on my Lectric T1 ST electric bike. And this particular bike has a Presta valve as well as 700 by 40C tires that need to be inflated to 75 PSI. And as you can see, the AS2 Pro Max has no issues getting those up to pressure. And finally, in this last clip, you can see that I'm topping off the pressure on my Engwe Engine Pro 2.0. And this particular bike has 20-inch by 4-inch fat tires, and the pump has no issue getting it up to pressure. It does take a little bit longer than the other tires, but it eventually gets it done. So as you can see, the AS2 Pro Max is accommodating of a wide variety of electric scooter tires as well as bike tires. And if we take a closer look at the unit itself, up front there is a power button, so if you press and hold this, it will turn it on, and it will show you actually the PSI that this is set to right now, 46. You can actually hit the plus button here to increase the PSI, hit the minus button to decrease the PSI, and if you hit the plus and minus button simultaneously, you can actually switch it to another unit of measure, which is bar. Hit it again, it'll switch it back to PSI. And when you're ready to pump, you just hit the power button, quick press one time, and it'll start inflating your tires. Another thing to call out about this pump is it does have this nozzle. This is actually what attaches to the valve itself. And an important thing to call out about this nozzle is that inside of it is a little rubber grommet. I don't know how well you can see it here, but there's a small hole on one side, there's a large hole on the other side. If you're going to be inflating Presta valves, you want to make sure that the small hole is facing outwards. If you're going to be inflating Schrader valves, make sure that the larger hole is facing outwards. And just know that if you're going to be inflating Schrader valves, they do include a brass little pillar that you drop right here into the center of this, and that's what's going to push the little nozzle in on the valve itself. And then you can just put this back on with whatever setting you want, twist it on, and then you can attach this to the valve. Make sure you do it nice and snugly. Don't be afraid to be firm with it. And then hit the power button and it'll inflate your tires. Now another thing to mention about this pump is that it does include this valve extension hose attachment. So let's say, for example, you're inflating the tires on a Brompton or a bike that's got spokes that are very close together and you kind of can't fit this in. You can actually attach this hose attachment here, twist it on, and you're good to go. It's got Schrader valve compatibility. But if you need Presta valve compatibility, it does come with another adapter, and you can just screw that on. It's got an O-ring and everything pre-installed, and you're good to go. Now you can go inflate your Presta tires. And I'm actually very impressed with this hose attachment because normally I absolutely hate these things because when you unscrew them, they result in a lot of air loss. Not so with this one. It's very minimal. It's just a little and that's it. So really nice hose attachment that they include with this pump. And one final thing to mention about this pump is that it does support inflating tires up to 120 psi. It's got a USB-C charging port there, so you can charge this from 0% to 100% in about an hour's time. And it's also got this silicone cover, because if this thing is running for a really long time, inflating a larger tire, it does get quite warm to the touch. So this silicone cover there helps with the heat to help make sure that you are comfortable. It helps dampen any kind of vibrations that might come through the device as you're holding it inflating tires. So here we've got my Lectric ONE e-bike, and what we're going to go ahead and do is a quick demonstration of this pump inflating the front tire. Now, as you can see, this Lectric ONE e-bike does have Schrader valves, and I went ahead and attached the hose attachment there. And then you can see here on the screen that we've got 15 psi. I'm going to go ahead and crank this up to 37 psi, and we're going to inflate by pressing this power button. So there you go. As we can see, the tire is fully inflated to 37 psi, and it did that relatively quickly, especially considering how small this pump is. All right, so after a month and a half of using the Cycplus AS2 Pro Max, what are my thoughts on this little pump? Well, all I can tell you right now is that I'm very impressed with the pump. It does a very effective job at inflating scooter tires as well as bike tires, and most importantly for me, it comes in a very small package. So small, in fact, that it kind of disappears out of the way until you actually need it. And when you do need it, it does a fantastic job of inflating tires. One thing I will say is that if you ride around on scooters and bikes, I highly recommend checking your tire pressure regularly, multiple times a week, because these things do lose air over time. It's just like a helium balloon. You fill it up, it's hanging out on your ceiling for a few days, and then one morning you wake up, it's on the ground. They do lose air, so it's important to stay on top of your tire pressure. If you do want to pick up one of these pumps or one of its smaller siblings, I will include some links in the description below, as well as a coupon code to help bring down that price. And let me know if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or concerns in the comments section below. Happy to address those. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in to Tom's Gadget Garage. We'll see you next time.